Hello everyone, welcome to this second lecture in which I want to talk about how to keep a reflective journal. It is a course requirement that students maintain a reflective journal throughout the course, and that it forms 50% of the assessment at the end of the module, so this is quite an important lecture. I want in this lecture to talk about why we keep journals. I want to mention Kolb's learning cycle just in passing. I want to give you some tips about how you can get the most out of keeping a reflective journal. And then finally I want to say something about the assessment criteria that I'll be applying at the end when the journals are available for me to mark. So starting at the beginning then with why we keep a reflective journal. If you were to do a web search, you would see that an awful lot of colleges do expect their students to maintain a reflective journal, and this is particularly true where those colleges are teaching courses on counselling, nursing, teaching. In other words, where there's a kind of professional skills base to be developed, you'll often find learning journals are a method of developing that skills base. And that's true also for our course on positive practice with children and young people, or care practice. Here we have a skills base that we're hoping to develop, and the reflective journal is a really good way of developing that skills base. Now, how to keep a reflective journal. I think step one is to record your experience accurately. And you might want to ask yourself questions like, what's happened, where, when, who's it involved, what emotions has it brought up for me, how did I behave? These are the kinds of questions to ask yourself in order to elicit the actual content of what happened, the content of the experience. And that's the first stage, to give a concrete explanation of what actually happened. The second stage is to ask yourself, what have I learnt as a result of this experience? And this is the reflection part. So you might also ask yourself, what do I know now that I didn't know before? What would I do differently? What did I do well? What did I do badly? What was the result of my behaviour? Does anything here constitute a repeating pattern of behaviour? In other words, I was responding in the present as I have responded before in the past. This is a valuable source of information, and these kind of reflections and insights can come out of these kinds of questions. The third and final step is about action planning. As a result of what I've learned, what would I do differently next time? What goals do I need to set myself? And importantly, how do I know when I've achieved those goals? And that really is the process that I want you to go through. I want you to identify an experience, I want you to reflect on that experience in order to get the learning from it, and then I want you to plan how you're going to do things differently next time so that there's a continual improvement. You've just seen the 4 categories that Kolb divided all learners into. He thought that we each had a preference for one of those learning styles. Some of us preferred experience, others preferred theory, some preferred reflection, others preferred action. But what Kolb said was that the most successful learners use all 4 strategies. And this is the beauty of the reflective journal, because it encourages learners to use all 4 strategies when they write their journal. In other words, you write about your experience, you reflect on that experience, you bring in theory and concepts, and you work out a plan for improvement, and then you go on to your next experience, but with more resources and with some reflection. So I'd encourage students to go and find out some more about Kolb and talk to me about it at the next lecture. Just finally, I want to comment on what the criteria are for when I come to mark the assignments. I'll be reading your journals with the following assessment criteria in mind. First of all, does the journal show evidence of skills development? Does the journal show increased self-awareness? Is the candidate able to apply knowledge and understanding gained on the course to real life and to work situations? Does the journal show a commitment to the course and to the candidate's own self-development? And is the candidate able to select relevant experiences and reflect on them in a productive manner with an identifiable outcome? Students sometimes ask me how many words do they need to write, and I always reply that I don't want to lay down any prescriptions about how many entries you should make in your journal. But if you're going to demonstrate some skills development and some personal development and your commitment to the course and to your own professional growth, then obviously you need to be looking at 1 or 2 entries a week at least, and of course quality as much as quantity is what counts. So I hope you enjoy keeping your journals, and I hope you continue to keep them even after the course is finished and throughout your professional career. I began keeping my journal 10 years ago, and off and on I've kept it ever since. So best wishes.